If you live with ADHD, your risk of developing a gambling problem isn't just a little bit higher. Research shows it can be up to 4 times higher. Now, that doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you lack discipline. The truth is, gambling is actually designed to target the exact wiring of your brain. And with ADHD, you naturally crave stimulation, novelty, and quick rewards. And gambling offers all of these in an instant. And in the moment, it feels like focus, like everything else fades away and the game finally gives you clarity. But what it's actually doing is hijacking your attention and pulling it away from things that matter most, like your work, your relationships, and your future. So in this video, I'm going to break down the science behind how gambling steals your focus and, more importantly, how you can take it back. Living with ADHD doesn't mean you can't focus. It means your focus just works differently. Everyday tasks like paperwork, school, assignments, long meetings, they can all feel like static on a radio. You want to tune in, but the signal just isn't there. And that's not your fault. Research shows ADHD is linked to a differently functioning dopamine center in your brain, and when your levels are running low, ordinary life feels dull. This is why you naturally seek out stimulation. You're not lazy, you're wired to crave things that light up your brain. Novelty, challenge, quick rewards. And that wiring makes you especially vulnerable to something as fast and unpredictable as gambling. Because the gambling industry built their products to give you exactly that. Fast, unpredictable bursts of dopamine. The spin of a slot machine, the flip of a card, the outcome of a game, it's all stimulation on demand. And nowadays, it's right in your pocket. Research shows that ADHD and gambling disorder both impair the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain that acts like brakes. So when gambling offers that surge of excitement, your brain's brakes can't slow you down. It's like you have a strong engine, but very weak brakes. It can feel like hyperfocus. Everything else fades and the game takes center stage. And in that moment, gambling feels like clarity, like energy, like control. But underneath, it's really just hijacking your attention and rewiring your brain to chase more of that thrill while draining your focus from things that actually matter in your life. And at first, gambling feels like relief. Finally, something that locks your attention, the rush that cuts through the boredom of everyday life. But here's the trap. Each time you gamble, your brain gets conditioned to only respond to those extreme highs. Regular life, like a job, family, dinner, or working out, they start to feel very flat by comparison. It's like eating junk food every single day, and at first it tastes great, but soon it becomes the norm, and real food starts to taste bland. Gambling does the same thing with your focus. The more you feed it, the more everyday life feels empty. So you chase another bet just to feel engaged again, to feel normal again. And before you know it, the afternoon is gone, deadlines pile up, loved ones feel ignored, and you're left wondering why nothing else feels enjoyable in your life anymore. That's the cycle. Boredom leads to gambling, which leads to the increased need for stimulation, leading to deeper boredom when you're not gambling. And round it goes. The good news is this: your focus is not gone. It can be taken back, and you don't have to fight it with sheer willpower. There are strategies that work with your brain, not against it. The first technique is something I call procrastinating on the urge. When the craving hits, your brain is screaming, do it now. But instead of trying to shut it down forever, you're going to procrastinate. Tell it, not yet. Set a timer for 15 minutes and say, I'll decide after this. Then shift your attention to something else. Go for a walk, call a friend, put on some music, whatever keeps you occupied. Because here's how it works. Urges are like waves. They rise, they peak, and they fall. If you can delay the impulse even for a short period of time, you give that wave a chance to pass instead of letting it crash over you and sweep you back into gambling. And if you live with ADHD, this technique is especially powerful because ADHD makes you more impulsive and drawn to instant rewards. So when you hear the words never gamble again, it feels impossible. But waiting 15 minutes, it feels manageable, like something you can actually do. And each time you wait it out, you prove to yourself that the urge doesn't control you. You start stacking up those small wins, and those small victories start building momentum. And over time, procrastinating on the urge rewires this cycle. You're no longer reacting on autopilot. You're taking back control one pause at a time. And to make this even easier, it can be helpful to limit your access to gambling so you can catch yourself before the impulse takes over. This means doing things like self-exclusion, using blocking tools like Gamban, and limiting access to your funds. Because not taking these steps is like an alcoholic trying to stop drinking while keeping beer in the fridge. It doesn't necessarily make it impossible to get, it just makes it harder to reach so you can use these techniques in the meantime. And like many things when it comes to ADHD, when something's out of sight, it's out of mind. That's why some people I work with go even further and use a basic flip phone for a while. This also has the double benefit of limiting other forms of stimulation seeking like mindlessly scrolling Instagram and TikTok. Once these barriers are in place and you can get some space from gambling, We need to look at ways to rebuild your brain with healthy dopamine. This could mean things like exercise, creative projects, learning new skills, or engaging in meaningful hobbies that retrain your reward system so you can feel engaged again without gambling. And finally, if you suspect you have ADHD, seek out a proper diagnosis and treat it directly. Research shows that when you treat ADHD with therapy or medication, you strengthen the brain's brakes. That means you gain control of your attention and gambling can lose its hold. So here's the bottom line. Gambling doesn't just take your money. It steals your focus, the most valuable resource you have, the very resource that will allow you to chase your dreams, to build something meaningful, so you can have a life of purpose and passion. And if you are feeling hijacked by gambling, know this. It's not a weakness. It's not a flaw in your character. It's your brain looking for stimulation in a world that's profiting off of it. But with the right tools and the right support, you can take back the steering wheel. You can train your brain to return your focus to the things that give your life meaning, your work, your relationships, and your future. And if this video resonates with you, feel free to share your experience in the comments. If you're ready to go deeper, you can watch my next video here where I walk you through the exact steps to stop gambling without relying on willpower. See you in the next one.